Okay, I did that.
So besides everything else you've
Okay.
said
So
so
then,
far, what else? Yeah.
other than, well, I'll obviously be answer any questions you have.
I
When
don't know
we're
if I have
done.
any questions, but
But my main question is, so sometime before I meet Uriel, I need to know, well, a bunch of things. So one is whether I could even put the stitch thing on the table. I'm taking that as a yes. Um, Understanding it would literally just be about the stuff they already know. It's just be you being willing to testify essentially, and maybe adding a little information about the two who have snitched on you and saying no. I can go. I can hide some of our, what exactly we're arguing more until trial or until like a hearing on a motion to suppress, or I can reveal everything to Uriel trying to get the best deal possible on the table. Um, the other thing I can
I mean, it
do
depends on your trust with
is
Uriel. Like, I don't know
come
this
on,
fucking guy.
bro, please, for the love of God, show mercy. You guys already fucked this person over with the 50 times, um, cultivation thing, and
Yeah, I
just see
mean,
if that,
like, yeah, the
gets
pity
them to
does.
move at all.
If that guy is anything like the BCSO,
But I
pity
need to
doesn't.
run some of that stuff. Some of that's going to infect your case, especially if I might leave
I mean, you think
the
pity gonna
case.
work against this guy? Because that shit don't work against the BCSO. The BCSO don't pity you for shit. So like, is he gonna
I
be
think it
just like
might work
them?
with Uriel, but here's the problem: Wrangler is on your case, and so Uriel isn't going to agree to anything that without that he thinks is going to make him
Oh well,
mad
Wrangler doesn't give a
without
fuck
checking with
about
them.
me. So yeah, I mean that's not gonna work. That guy doesn't pity me. It doesn't give two shits
Okay,
about like my future or even if I attempted to become clean. Like that guy doesn't give a fuck. As far as I can tell, that guy's brainwashed. Like that guy, like look, like I don't know what the fuck that guy's on, but it's not good.
okay. Uh, and then I guess the other thing is, in a world where you're not snitching, the only way you get a real good deal, right, is if they decide they want to go after the other two and have your help. Um, if I got you what would be, I think, relatively a good deal, but is still kind of fucking you, it would look like something like, and I'm just throwing this out
And I
here,
need
it would
everyone
still
to
probably
know they're
be,
snitches.
I mean, you can just tell everybody either way.
Nah, nah, it's gonna be public.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm gonna get out of all this. It's
So
like,
if I got, so right now you saw their initial offer was 10 years and 1.5
yeah, but
million.
it's gonna change, right? Because of the bail.
Well, the bail's thrown on there is the bail's done. Like there's no way to undo the bail other than
No,
I
I
can ask them
mean
to take it
it's
out
not
of a new
gonna
plea.
affect the plea. You're saying.
Yeah, other than I can argue that, hey, he already paid this, so maybe give him some credit. They don't have to, and they probably won't. But I just, okay, let's say that I got it down to 750K and like, well, first of all, do you care more about time or money?
I don't know, man. I'm just trying not to go to jail. Like I keep getting fucking steamrolled here. Like I do care about the money, man, but every time I like get to a point where I'm making it, I just feel like the fucking city comes down on me.
Yeah, no, I get that, and that's fair. Um, the only way,
Because like I want to run a legitimate business, but man, like how the fuck am I gonna do that at $2 million in debt? I mean, so I have to pay so my vehicles don't get fucking taken, 10,000 a month, or not a month, a week. But like that was set for $300,000. I mean, now this is what, fucking 3, 4 times as much. Like I'm gonna be up to like 80 to 100 fucking grand a week just to keep my vehicles.
mm, well, that's up. It's going to be judge's discretion, but I would argue that it should stay at 10K because the bottom line is the more you owe doesn't change what you can actually, make. I mean, it could be a
Yeah,
billion
okay.
dollars. It doesn't mean you can pay $1 million a week. I mean, it just doesn't change the reality of, your income.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
but it's up to a judge. But I'm just saying, I think that's a fair argument to make. And if I was a judge, I wouldn't make it more than 10K a week. But they
But
might feel
yeah, okay,
differently.
okay. I mean, yeah, but like where I'm getting at with all this.
Yeah.
To me, like, if these guys are allowed to just continue what they're doing, like, I'm not gonna get any real business done in the city, anyways. If the whole city doesn't know they're snitches and it's not like literally public record, I don't see how it, it isn't gonna matter to them.
Oh, you're not even talking about state. You're talking about Howard and
Yeah,
Ray.
yeah. I don't. The state's getting its money. It's already like there's no. I'm not stopping that. I don't see how I stop that. Well,
Um,
I guess they're killing my bank account. They're not getting the money. I don't know how that
yeah.
works, but
I mean, yeah, the only way to really stop that would be to win, go to trial and win. which again, I don't think is hopeless. I mean, like, you have an argument, but it's it's pretty unlikely. But well, I'm just trying to, because I'm going to talk to you about it. Please, let's just pretend we're in a world where I get him down to like 750 grand. I mean, does that make a difference? Would you at all versus the 1.5?
I don't know, man. Like, does that change? You saying with still 10 years? I do like
Yeah, or
parole. I mean, I'd be open to parole.
community service. Oh, by the way, that's another thing you should talk to the judges about when your debt gets this large to the state. Some of them are willing to come to community service agreements in lieu of actual payment. And also, if that stuff is like getting you in with the judges, that might help you in the future to be seen as more legitimate. If you've had contact with them and they like you.
I mean, yeah, if you keep working with me on this, then yeah, I'm down. I like all that.
Okay, I'll talk to him
I'm not
about
gonna lie,
community
man.
service
I'm
too.
already thinking about what happens after. I already know the
No,
results on
that's
this,
fair.
you know? Like, I'm trying to think of what I do in the future to avoid this fucking nonsense.
Well, I'll tell you, and I know this is hard. The main thing is I again, because I see this from the defense perspective, so I see deals. There are a lot of snitches. There's a lot of snitches. That's if you're gonna do crime in the city. Honestly, the biggest
Yeah,
for doing big crime
I'm
is
learning,
snitches.
dog, but I'm learning the ones that aren't. I am learning the ones who aren't. It's
Okay.
not as it is becoming more obvious who is and isn't. So nah,
Also, I'll
I'm
tell you, I don't
not
know
down
who the
bad.
You might as well just tell me who is the fifth person. I know, obviously, you, Simone, the other this two snitches. You.
Uh, well, I guess there's could be two more. I don't know, cause one like
Who are they?
well, there's Chase and uh who the other
Well, Chase already
no
snitched. Although it wasn't even really specifically against you, but when he got
yeah
shot on that mountain, he reported an attempted murder against all of
yeah
you.
I just assume he's still involved in some way. I have no idea. But
He might be. He's
and
also
then
how they
no
got into the motel room the first
yeah
time when
and
they were
then
investigating Howard, not you.
and then Noah's the only other member that I knew about.
Okay.
They added like one new member pretty quickly, but I didn't get to work with that guy at all, so I wouldn't he really wouldn't know much about me. But I mean I guess he could snitch. I don't know.
Okay. Because I don't know whether. Well, I was just gonna say because I don't actually know whether the redacted stuff is. If I had to guess, the redacted stuff is more investigations against the other members of your gang, Simone and maybe the other guy, not a third snitch. But although it could be a third snitch, but I'm just saying that's my guess. Um, okay, but yeah, so I'm trying to feel out whether when I talk to Uriel whether what I should be realistically trying to aim for. If would you be willing to serve? Well, again, let's just say if it's more money, like this is a scale, right? The more money, the less time. The more time, the less money. Would you rather? When I've got to pitch this to him. Would you rather it be cheaper and you spend more years in
Yeah,
prison
less
or
time, man.
less time? Okay,
Yeah, because
not worried about the
like I'm
money.
just gonna make just yeah yeah less time
Okay,
for sure.
so I mean, if I got him down to say,
I do
and
time
I
and
don't know that he'll
parole.
agree that
Yeah, I mean he probably won't do parole, but I do time and
they probably
parole.
won't do parole because of the bail violation. What they
Yeah,
might do is community service to try to help pay off
I mean I would do it.
your debt.
I'd probably do a lot of it too. I just please not BCSO tow. If it's BCSO tow, I'm not doing community service.
It probably wouldn't be that.
Yeah, then we're chilling.
In fact, it probably won't
Oh, I
even be
can't tow
part of the
anyways.
plea.
I don't have a driver's
The
license. Like they,
the way community service will probably work, and I can, if once this case is over, if I'm still involved, I can help you with this. Is you will probably want to go just find a judge. Well, actually, probably want to talk about which judge you want to talk to because you want the nicest judge. You'll want to come up with a pitch of what you could do for community service and just try to convince them to accept that in lieu of your debt. It won't even be part of the case. You'll just be like, I'm in $2 million in debt. I can never pay this off. I would like to do a bunch of community service. What can we work out here? And you just see if you can get a judge to agree to it.
okay.
And they can do that if they want, and some of them will. It depends on the mood and who it is and what you're offering.
All right. I mean, can I keep attempting to do that, or is this like a one-time thing I can attempt?
I don't see why you couldn't pitch it to multiple judges. It depends on what the judge says. If the judge is like, "Don't bring this up to any other judge," you can't. But I think
Uh,
if you do it right, you can bring it up to.
yeah, all
They might
right.
also just say that's not what we want to do, but you can come up with a different, community service proposal. Like I've seen people give free food to the poor, or do work around the courthouse, that type of stuff.
Okay. I can do that.
Um,
I am a chef.
okay, but so I'm writing down. You would rather have more debt and less time.
Yeah. But does that look good for me if I'm trying to do community service though?
That's what I'm saying. This is different. You're not even going to do. That's a separate thing. This will be after you're
Yeah.
fucking convicted. You just go to a judge and see if they'll do it.
Okay.
And they can say no, and they might say no. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but if they say yes, then you can do it, and some of them might. There's no reason not to. Um, okay, I'm trying to think. Well, okay, so let's just imagine that we're in a world where it's like 5 years in prison, on top of what you've already served by the time this is agreed, and like 2 million. I mean, would you consider taking that just to get out?
Wait, say it again.
So if it's like 5 years in prison on top of what you've served already, and like 2 million, would you be willing to consider that?
Um, I, are you talking to Uriel right now? Is that what this is?
No,
Oh,
I am alone, and no,
oh
I'm
okay.
talking to him in the next day or two. I'm going to set up a meeting.
Um,
I'm not gonna. You would know if I was. Look, this is all. If you don't want it, you can say no. This is all. I'm not trying to
look,
force
man,
you
I
to
need these
do
guys fucking
anything.
exposed as snitches. It's not gonna work unless it's in court,
One,
in my
well, one
opinion.
thing that could
It's just not gonna
happen
work the way
is
I
I
need
could
it to.
do the motion to suppress and bring up on the record that these guys are snitches, which would be part of that anyway, and that would be in court, but it wouldn't be trial. But there would be, a transcript.
But does it prove they're snitches? I'm confused. I guess I'm missing something. How does it prove they're a snitch? Just because we said they're a snitch doesn't mean they are a snitch. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just have their fucking interview. I mean, that proves they're a snitch. Um,
I
but
mean, but you can't. We can't. Like,
I'll have to think about that. I might be able to just give it to you. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that. I might get in trouble for that.
yeah, I don't want none of that. Nah, nah, I don't want any. I don't want them to have a reason to believe that
But
he might be
I
here.
mean, I can. Uh, I'm just trying to think of what would be appropriate for me to say at the suppression hearing. No, this wouldn't really come up at the suppression hearing, because the suppression hearing, by the way, if it works, would be hilarious. Because the only reason it's going to work would be because of their fake lease. Um,
Oh, so they'd have to release all of it to you immediately? Is what you're saying?
well, then they wouldn't even get back. It's just that they'd suppress. They wouldn't be able to use the evidence against you in court.
Oh,
The
right.
thing is, because they're saying you're a tenant, they were let into the apartment by a landlord. They didn't get, or the motel, right? They didn't get a warrant. And the rule in the United States is the landlord can't let them in. They need to go through you, right, or get a
Yeah.
warrant,
Yeah, makes
because you're
sense.
the tenant. It's
Yes, you
your
live there. You're a
space,
resident. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
It's
that's not what they
breach of
did.
privacy.
And that's actually very simple black letter law. I just don't trust the judges here to follow the law.
By
But
black
if the
letter,
judge
what do you
agrees with
mean?
me, what would happen is anything that they found in that motel, they couldn't use against you at your trial. And from what I are seen, that would basically be both of your weapons. Like, all of the weapons come from the motel, so you would still be fucked on drugs, but that would actually mean you probably win the two weapons charges, the manufacturing and the trafficking, if you win that motion to suppress hearing.
Okay.
And again, I think that you should actually win it based on what I've know of the law, but I don't want to. I never want to get your hopes up.
Well, yeah, so based on that, thinking about the remaining charges, if I did win that, what is my fine and time looking like? Is it around what the plea deal that you're saying? Or is it
It'd be
better?
really rough, because
Worse?
it's basically, the problem is because it's, so the remaining one is drug trafficking, and it's a sliding scale based on how much drugs there is, and there was a fucking shitload of weed. They're saying, according to them, there was
Yeah,
1.3 million dollars worth of weed. I don't know how they
I
come to that calculation, but
I could probably tell you they are probably wrong, probably off, but like I don't I stopped
are they
growing.
really off?
No, they could I don't know what we had at the time, but I have an inkling of an idea.
I mean, I can tell you what they had because I mean I have their raid receipt.
Oh, I mean, how many bricks were there?
Let me look.
You know what a brick is, right?
I mean, it's just a bunch of weed. I
It's
don't know
a, it's
like
a
what it
yeah,
weighs.
it's 100 of the buds, so that's a brick. Because you
They're
can't
saying.
cosmic, you
Well,
can't
first of
turn.
all, they're saying there were 2 weed brick pallets. Is that just a bunch of bricks? How does a weed pallet work?
It's weird. You can't actually use the weed, but it does look like weed, and the cops definitely
So in
confiscate it and
terms
weigh
of
it as weed.
okay, so they're saying there's 14 pounds of weed brick pallet. So that's not ideal. But then
Uh,
they're saying there were 1,800 grams of cosmic stardust bud, 36 1 gram joints, and 15 seeds.
well, how many grams of stardust?
1,800 grams.
Okay, so that should be 18 bricks. And then current pricing. When was the when would they confiscate that weed?
7th.
Okay. Um, following the Bala's recommendations at that time, if he didn't want to get stabbed, would have been 30. But everyone's forcing people to sell it for 40 usually. But Ray at the time, what he was telling me was that he was selling it for 20. Yeah, 20. He pushed against the Bala's deal. Like the Ballas basically aren't going to hurt you as long as you sell it at their price of 30. But Ray pushed against that. And that's really when all
Wait,
this
did you say
started.
it was a 40? Was their
No,
price?
20. So yeah, 20. So 18 times 20,000 is what Ray would have been selling that for.
Okay. But if they got in somebody like the Ballers, they would say it was 30 per brick.
Oh well, no, the Ballas are trying to force people to sell it at the time like that. They're not doing that now though. I was trying to
Okay.
I was talking to myself a little bit there just to get the price
Okay.
correct.
That's fine.
So yeah, no, if it only 18 bricks, because you said it 1,800 grams.
Well,
Yeah,
the other thing they're
that's
going to try to do is they're going to argue those fucking pallets are count as a shit ton of more, right?
oh right, yeah. I have no idea. Yeah, no, those pallets are kind of bullshit, honestly. But I don't even know where they came from though. I don't understand. Where'd they raid those pallets at?
I ain't see shit, man.
The house, the lawn, and inside of the house.
Okay, and that was a legal raid.
It's kind of borderline, but the problem is a judge already
Ah.
signed off on it. I don't think we're going to be able to suppress the house.
With that Triple H, I'm trying to talk to someone, bro.
Because a judge has already reviewed it and said they think it's okay. Mainly because what their main argument is Howard had a key and let them in.
That's what he's doing.
So they're going to say he had.
You're talking about the
ability to do
house on Lowenstein, right?
Yeah, yeah. So even if you're
I don't
only
get to keep
got on
anything,
drug
do I?
trafficking, they're
I don't
going to
get to
try
keep
to
any
argue.
of it, do I? Fucking
That the fine
god
should be
damn.
really high because they're going to argue there was a shit ton of drugs, and part of their argument is going to be there's these 2 pallets that are, I mean, I've seen in this case, I wouldn't be surprised if a court on only the drug trafficking went as low as like 500, but I bet that they are going to argue like 1.5, 2 million, the state, and then it'll just be up to the judge how much the actual fine is if you're convicted.
Oh.
And I honestly can't tell you because there's a huge variance. It's up to the judge and their fucking mood on the day, and whether Wrangler is there and yelling at them, and how scared and much of a pussy they are. I mean, these are all factors.
Yeah, man. Really, if I can ask anything of you, it's getting Ray and Howard because they're gonna have to be on the stand, right? I do need them to say that they did all this. I think like I can't just fucking I just don't know if I can take a plea, man.
Well, after I'm just seeing whether it's possible. Because if it's possible, I can talk to him. Obviously, whatever he offers, I bring back to you. It's not final until you've seen it and agreed to it.
Yeah, okay.
I just need to know the parameters of what I can talk to him about.
Do whatever you. Yeah, I mean, just I want to get out of jail so bad, but I need these motherfuckers to.
That's all it is,
It's just not gonna stop, man.
That's what I do here. I just teach people how to be
It's not gonna
better
stop
folk
after this.
women.
They're still gonna try to take advantage of me in some way.
I mean, all I really do is just break out of jail and
Um,
kill people, and then they catch me and put me
Also,
back in.
I don't know if you realize this, but the police are probably going to try to
I
take
think
that
I've
house.
broken out 3
Yeah,
times so
I mean,
far.
if the weed pellets are, yeah, if they,
How did you break out?
if it shows that the
I got a tunnel.
judge legally allowed that raid, then yeah, the house is gone.
Fuck no,
I
this
know.
is my tunnel,
I was
motherfucker.
also evicted out of my house as well as my friend was raided, so
No,
I
bro.
literally just lost everything, like
The
$500,000,
more people know
$600,000
about
worth
my
of stuff.
tunnel,
So.
the more likely
That's
Probably
I'll be
more
able to
because
use
I
it
was
again.
starting. I just got everything set up for the carpentry business, and all the furniture just got moved in there after like 10 hours of fucking work to like tens of thousands of fucking killer and shit. It's all
Yeah,
gonna
what
get.
if you get
They
caught
are
in the
apparently they
tunnel
don't
and the
have
tunnel
to
is
give you
gone?
time in this state for eviction notices. I was told by a judge
I mean,
in
I
my
can make
home
a section
with
if you want, or
5 other police officers and another judge that was not the case. But from what I've heard, that is the case. So they're just gonna take it all instantly, and I'm not. While I'm in jail, I'm not gonna be able
what
to.
the fuck is that thing?
I'm not gonna be able to get any of it.
Are they taking legal items?
Hey, give me
Oh,
your
everything,
grilled
I
cheese
assume,
and
because
your
they're
water,
gonna evict
motherfucker.
us,
I am
so they just own
thirsty.
everything in the home.
Yeah, I just use my
That's not.
mind, motherfucker.
That's not how that works. I mean, you can do a motion for property return
I
for
can mind
legal
all the
items
poltergeists
that
of
are
the
taken
dead
from
prisoners,
you within
motherfucker.
30 days
In this state,
of it being taken. Yeah.
because I mean, you think they're gonna give me my can injectors back and my pressure? No, they're not giving that shit back. There's no way. I
If
don't
it's
believe.
legal,
Even my cash, I had a large
I've
sum of
had
cash
people.
with that.
Well, they're gonna
You
argue.
niggas
What
are
they're gonna
water
try to
resort,
argue is
bro.
that you have to prove that it came from a lawful source. But if you can do
Well,
that,
he's
they
gonna
have to
get
give it
some
back.
food,
I would argue
buddy.
you don't even need to do that, but the judges will probably force you to. Different states
Oh,
do
you
it
got apple
differently.
cider,
That's
motherfucker?
like a
Okay.
state
Yeah,
by
what
state
is a
thing.
large fucking sum of cash? Because I feel like I got like I can't have more than fucking $10,000 on this or like anywhere.
If they want to fuck you over, I'll tell you again. You can fight for this stuff, and it'll be up to each individual judge. There is not a fucking rule here, like a written rule. Oh, it's up to whether the cop that finds it wants to fuck with you, and then it's
Well, but
up
they
to the
all
judge.
want to, so I'm just fucked. So it's not even. It's just I'm better off ignoring all of this, getting out of jail as quickly as possible, and just making money again. That's my best alternative. But like, I have to have these fuckers pay, because I'm gonna if I stay in jail, I have to have these guys will be outed as snitches. You know, if I go to court, if I take, but then I lose everything, because I won't be able to get back to my homes in time because I can't give keys to anyone. So I don't have that type of access.
Right.
So I mean,
Um,
that's a decision I have to make. I've already lost everything numerous times again. I mean, I'm about to lose another 1.3 million. It's basically the same as losing everything. So why does it matter? Because I can't
Well,
get,
I mean,
yeah, like I don't know what decision I need to make, and I don't think you can tell me. But like, what would you do?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what. So there's three things basically to think about. Well, I guess there's four if there's things out there you think you can save if you get out fast enough. But there's basically three things: how much time you're going to spend in jail, how much money you're going to be in debt because you're already in massive debt, and how much you think, proceeding to trial and forcing going through with this is gonna.
Because will the charges be worse, right? Because it won't be 1.3 million if I lose.
They're gonna ask for that. It'll be up to the judge. It could be lower. It could be more. And you might not want to decide also until after you've seen whether they suppress the weapon stuff, because it'll be more. It'll definitely be more than 1.3 million.
Yeah,
if they
it's
keep
just
going all three.
you gotta realize, look, like in my eyes, this is planned. This is all intent. There's intent behind all of this. Me being evicted currently, me being in jail currently, like it all has intent to me. I can't like.
And that's another reason I'm trying to get more of these reports out of them to see more of what else the police have written down about you. Now, I'm not doing it just for general. I'm doing it because it could be relevant to your case. But
Now I got a question that's not relevant, but I don't understand how mass murder is so like seems so insignificant compared to like my cultivation charges, for example. Like,
Um,
because they would. You're saying they wouldn't have stacked any cultivation charges there. I don't know, man.
uh,
None of this is important. I don't fucking care. Ignore me. Ignore me. Is there anything else you need to tell me? I, I'm starting to have a fucking panic attack. I gotta go to sleep.
okay. Okay, don't worry. Don't. Okay, so you want me to try to focus on getting time down as low as possible before I bring the plea offer to you.
Yeah, man.
That's your thing.
I'm a race car driver, brother. You know how hard it is to be pinned up
Gotta
in
get out there
here.
doing your thing.
Yeah,
I
like
get it.
I'm at the peak of my game. I was my focus now is to get a faster vehicle because I'm at a point to where like, what I'm in is too slow, and I'm, doing good in it. Just like
Okay.
that's
I'll
all.
also try to consider whether other ways to maybe make you happy about the those two being known as snitches. If you take the plea. I'm not sure there's anything I can do with that, but I'm writing down to consider it. Okay, well, probably sometime in the next day or two, I'll do this. And then the other thing is, if you want to proceed to trial, we can. Well, we'll talk about whether I'm going to be your attorney for that, but you can try to speed it up or slow it down depending on what you do. So it sounds like you would want to speed it up now that you're in prison because I mean you're not getting out until after trial, obviously, if you don't take a plea. So you don't want to spend more time waiting for.
No,
Right.
actually, I am fucking disgusting. I would be that type. But I'd kind of have to get your input on it. I would drag it out.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know too. Then I needed to know that.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I would be very interested in dragging it. If I gotta stay in here, then I'm gonna drag it the fuck out. It's fine.
Well, and I'm not going to drag it out unnecessarily, but just if there's more stuff you can do to be better prepared.
Yeah, no, agree. Yeah, exactly. No, I do want to be prepared for the case. I wanted to like make sure we showcase everything that they have done, and to those in the court who aren't corrupt, and those who do want to see actual justice and whatever. Like the gangs in the city want to see who they really want to do business with, and that's how it happens. I'll make more money by going to court.
Okay. All right. So that's the plan. Then we'll need to talk as soon as I've once I've got after I've spoken with Uriel.
Okay, sweet. That sounds
I'll
all
try to
perfect to
get
me.
an offer on the table with as little time in prison as possible, keeping in mind that you care less about the money. Um,
Yeah, in
and
this current juncture of my life, for sure.
just looking at my notes. And I'll tell you, I mean, the main reason I want to meet with Uriel and I wanted to meet with Uriel is to try to flip this case onto the other two and away from you. I don't think that's likely, but I want to give that a shot.
I'd be thrilled if you tried that. Thank you.
Oh.
Because that's what it feels like it should be. Like it just feels so odd that I'm.
Yeah, that's one. Also,
It
if
feels
they're
like
not gonna,
obvious to them. I don't know
I
why.
want to know why. Why they're choosing to do it this way. He might not tell me, but anyway, all right. I'll get a feel
Yeah.
for that. I should have a sit down meeting with him sometime in the next 2 days.
Wicked. Thank you, Barry. You're a fucking hero, man. There's no one better. For real.
All right, no worries at all. I'll see if we can get this.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
let's do it.
Have a good
Peace.
one.